In this lesson, we're going to set the filter criteria on our view to make sure that the content listed is only the content that we actually want to see. So we have this upcoming events view here, this page that we're looking at, which currently shows all of the events that have been listed on our site. Scrolling back up to the top here, if we want to edit this view, we can use this quick edit option at the top of our view. I'm going to leave this tab open, however, so that we can look at our view as we're going. But I am going to move over to this other tab where I have the view open in the Views UI. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and what we're interested in here is the filter criteria. So there are two criteria already set, which are very important. The first one is publishing status, which is set to yes. This ensures that only content that is published, so content that we have determined is ready for the public to be able to access, is displayed in this site. If this particular filter were not set, so I could actually remove it by clicking on it and then clicking on the Remove button at the bottom of the modal window, or I could set it to No, and then click on the Apply to All Displays button that's at the bottom of the modal window. Then what we would get is content that is not published. I'm going to close out of this because I actually don't want to change this. I want to make sure that only content that is published displays in the view. The other very important filter criteria here is event. So if we click on this, we can see that the only content type that's being pulled into this view is event content. If I wanted to add another content type like forum topic, I could go ahead and do so here. I'm going to cancel out of this because I also don't want to make this change. If we scroll down and look at the preview here, we can see a number of events listed. There are 4 events and only one of them has an image. Perhaps, however, we only want to see events that have images in the image field because we want to make sure that everything looks really pretty. Scrolling back up here, we can go ahead and add a filter in our filter criteria by clicking on Add that will allow us to restrict the items that display to only those that have an image in that field. Clicking on Add gives me a long list of options to choose from, and it can take a while to find the item that you're actually looking for. There are filters up here at the top that you can choose from, so if you know what you're looking for, you could actually search for it pretty quickly. I'm going to type in image, and that's going to restrict to all of the fields that have to do with the image itself. I'll click on the Alt option and then click the big blue button that says Apply to All Displays. Now I can choose the operator, which I can set to a specific value, or in this case, what I actually want to do, the very last item in this drop-down list is not empty, not null. So that's what I'm going to select. Now you can see that dropping into the operator field there is not empty, not null. This means that the filter I'm setting requires that there be something entered into the alt text field on the image field in order for the content to display in this view. And I'll go ahead and apply this change. A reminder, any change that I make is not saved until I click the big blue Save button at the bottom of the UI. I also know that I have unsaved changes with 2 visual indicators on the page. One is this little star next to upcoming page, and the other is the yellow box at the top that says you have unsaved changes. So I'm going to go ahead and save this change. And now we'll pop over to the upcoming events page and reload it. The only event that's displaying now is the event that has an image in it. This isn't actually a filter that I want on my event, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the UI, scroll down to the filter criteria area, and then right next to filter criteria is this add dropdown. Rather than clicking on add, I'm going to use the little dropdown arrow and click on and or rearrange, and I'm going to remove the content image filter and apply to all displays. Now I'll go ahead and save this and then reload the view itself. Now all of the events are displaying again, not just the one that has an image. The filter that we do want on this particular content, however, is a date filter. We only want to see upcoming events, so we don't want to see any content for which the event date has passed. At the time of recording this video, this functionality is not working as expected in the Drupal beta. So we're going to skip this filter for the purposes of our demo. It works, however, very similarly to how we used the image field a moment ago. Rather than choosing is not null as your operator, you would choose greater than or equal to now as your operator.